Here's my early movie review for Madam Web. Can someone please tell Sony that the line is with great power comes great responsibility? Please? Alright, it's Valentine's Day week, the week of love. So that's what we're going to do here. We're going to start off with what we loved, what we liked, what we found redeemable, what we found tolerable about this movie. Because with great power comes great responsibility. Madam Web is the latest Spider-Man spin-off movie from Sony that doesn't have Spider-Man. It's kind of like those movies, Venom, Let There Be Carnage, and Morbius. In this story, we have Cassandra Webb, a Spider-Man character who has the ability to see the future. She sees that the lives of 3 young girls are in danger, decides to protect them and prepare them for their greater destinies. This movie deals with trauma, and I actually felt like the emotional thread between the mother-daughter relationship was satisfactory. Cassandra Webb, her whole life, had this anger towards her mom, and when she realizes the truth, she understands how to heal those wounds of the past and embrace her future. And I just felt like that was actually a meaningful message. The way they do it visually with her unique abilities, I was like, okay, that works. I mean, it worked for me. It might not work for you, but it worked for me. Madam Web has serviceable chemistry between all the leads, that emotional thread of trauma I was talking about, and crazy precognitive abilities. Regrettably, the movie gets caught up in a messy web of powerless plot and feels like an outdated 2000s comic book movie. The movie is Final Destination and a slasher combined with Spider-Man characters, except it never reaches the great potential of any of those ideas. I don't see the Sonyverse surviving very long if they keep utilizing Spider-Man's lore, yet they're afraid to fully embrace it. They want to start a cinematic universe with Spider-Man characters, but they don't want to associate Spider-Man at all. Oh wait, never mind. They want to do a standalone niche cliche plot, but with Spider-Man characters and never mention Spider-Man. It just, what? This is my least favorite Spider-Man spin-off movie, and I hate saying that because I want everybody to win. I believe these female leads deserve better writing, better story, a better movie, a better chance to fully realize these characters with Spider-Man. And it's apparent in this movie that it seemed like the people behind this were undecided about whether to connect it with Spider-Man, not to connect it with Spider-Man. Oh, let's make it its own thing, but with Spider-Man characters. Ooh, we can tell halfway through that was probably a bad idea. Maybe we don't even believe in this movie. I don't know. It is what it is. It seemed like that at the very end, especially with zero post-credit scenes. It is what it is. Madam Web exists now. We didn't have the future somehow to foresee that this was probably not the best idea. We can't redo it. It is what it is. Making Spider-Man characters interesting without Spider-Man involved in these movies has proven that it's just like climbing a wall. It just falls. Slapping Marvel IP onto stories we've seen before doesn't make it spectacular. I also thought the trailers were misleading. I thought we were going to get more depth with the supporting characters, but everything we get in the trailer is everything we see in the movie. They're normal throughout the entire thing. They're never as special as their original comic book creations. It is a bizarre superhero movie, but it still functions, I think, from a general audience casual perspective. You have your protagonist, you have your antagonist, you have the inciting incident, you have the resolution. It functions, but it's just not executed well. We have performances that aren't very uplifting. I mean, Dakota Johnson, I think she's wonderful, but in the majority of her roles, she always just seems kind of disinterested in what she's doing. I'm not sure if that's just her thing, but for Cassandra Webb, it just doesn't really work for me. And when it comes to the dialogue, I mean, ceiling guy, he's coming after you, he's gonna kill you, run. What? Some of the visuals were intriguing, reminded me of Loki and Doctor Strange, but ultimately they couldn't save the third act. Yikes with the third act, guys. When we look at the final fight of the first Spider-Man movie in 2002, and you watch this, I mean, it's kind of unreal. I mean, the CGI is just bad, so unnatural, and completely tarnishes the threat that's occurring. My spider sense was going off throughout the entire thing. At that point, I don't even think Spider-Man showing up could have saved the movie, honestly. How do we have the movie rights to Spider-Man and not use him is goofy to me. It will never make sense to me. Also, them changing with great power comes great responsibility to when you take responsibility, great power will come. Why? As always, I encourage you to go watch the movie yourself in theaters, and I hope you enjoy it. Have a great Valentine's Day.